Hello everyone, this is Komal and today I am here with the topic of class 9th rotation and revolution chapter number 3. So in this chapter we will discuss these following points. The first one, introduction of what is the meaning of rotation and revolution, then movement of earth, then rotation of the earth and alternation of day and night, revolution, then effects of inclination of the axis, and the last part, revolution of the earth and seasonal changes. We will discuss it one by one. Introduction part, in this they have given some important points. The first is the apparent movement of the sun, moon, stars and other celestial bodies gives an impression that all bodies are moving while we are stationary. All the heavenly bodies are moving, we are stagnant on one position. This is the real fact of the movement of sun, moons and star, all celestial bodies. Actually, we little realize that it is the earth that is constantly on the move. We have very little realization about the movement of earth. According to the day and night, we are realizing about this fact that earth is moving, we are not moving. We do not feel the rotation because we are also moving along with the earth at the same speed. With the same speed of earth, we are the rotation and revolution. These are the two factors which are responsible for the rotation part. It is a common practice that the sun rises in the morning in the east and is at the highest point or zenith at the midday. Zenith means the midpoint or the midday, that means the noon part, and sets in the west. A sun rises from the east side and sets in the west, but it happens according to the rotation of the earth. Earth rotates according to that. We are having the sun's position in the east side in the morning and getting the sets position of the sun in the west side. So in fact, all the heavenly bodies are constantly in motion, but they held together in space because of the gravitational force of one with the respect of other. Due to the gravitational pull of sun, all the celestial bodies are bound to connect in a particular orbit. So that's why they are revolving, they are rotating, they are revolving around the sun. Now the movement of earth. The primary movement of the earth are rotation and revolution. These are the two primary movement of earth. One is rotation and second one is revolution. Rotation means when earth rotate on its axis from west to east once in 24 hours. That is a rotation. It causes day and night. Because of this factor rotation point, we are getting day and night. Next is revolution. Revolution means the earth revolves around the sun, making one complete revolution in approximately, this is the exact time in which the earth revolves around the sun, 365 and 1/4 days. And 1/4 days complete after 4 years, we are completing 1 day. As 366, that is the leap year. After 4 years, we are getting 1 leap year in which we are counting this 1/4 day. Since earth is the only planet with life on it, and all these movements of earth affect the type of plants and animals inhabited on the earth. Inhabitants of plants and animals both are affected due to these two movements, rotation and revolution. So, because of the varying amount of sun's heat reaching the various parts of the earth due to the earth's spherical shape and inclination of the axis, and the amount of isolation means heat which comes from the sun, varies from place to place. Somewhere some places are getting much heat and they are according to the climate, they are getting much heat, and some areas are very cold. Since temperature is the basis of the climate, vegetation and atmospheric changes, it greatly affects the variety of life on earth. All types of varieties which are existed on earth, they are affected due to the these movement, rotation and revolution. Now, rotation of the earth and alternation of day and night. You have to draw these two diagrams in your notebooks. First one, rotation of the earth, this one diagram, and the second one, occurrence of day and night. This circle explains the circle of illumination. Illumination, the part of and the surface which is behind the daylight area, that gets night. So that's why we can say the areas or the continents which are behind the earth of behind the area which are getting daylight, they are experiences night time at the same time when we are experiencing the daylight. Now, the period of rotation. What is the period of rotation? The spinning of the earth on its polar axis is termed as the rotation, and it can be called as the period of rotation, or the time required for the earth to turn through 360 degree is 23 hours 56 minutes and 4.09 seconds. This is the exact time of rotation of the earth. Earth completes 360 degree rotation on its axis in 23 hours 56 minutes and 4.09 seconds, and this period is termed as the sidereal day, and it is determined by the stars. This is the exact word for this rotation period, sidereal day. Now, the effects of speed of rotation, how it affects the all part of the earth surface. Firstly, all the moving bodies on the earth's surface, that is ocean current, winds, are deflected toward the right in the northern hemisphere and left in the southern hemisphere due to the Coriolis force created because of the rotation of the earth, and that is called the Farrell's law. These 2 points are very important. We already discussed these 2 points in the last chapter, second one chapter. What is a Coriolis force and what is a Farrell law? You have to give me the answer of what is a Coriolis effect and Farrell's law through the comment section. Now, next thing, cyclones and anticyclones are also deflected in both the hemispheres, causing atmospheric changes. These are the 3 basic effects of speed of rotation. Now, the next thing is, what are the effects of rotation? Firstly, we will discuss the speed of rotation. Now, the effects of rotation. These are the effects. First one is, rotation causes day and night. Firstly, because of the rotation, we are getting daylight and night time. Now, the second effect, the variation in the temperature is also due to the rotation, temperature variation. You can experience like that, during the daytime you are getting heat, and during the night time you are feeling somewhat mild temperature or cold temperature. Now, the third point, the apparent movement of the celestial bodies is the evidence of Earth's rotation. We can say that the sun rises in the morning in the east and sets in the evening in the west. This is the next effect of rotation, the movement of sun. East, it rises from the east side in the morning and sets in the west side. Now, it is an illusion. Now, the sun is stationary, as we are, these are the causes. They have given the evidence for that it is a illusion for us. Like, sun is stationary, we are moving. Then the trees and houses appear to move at a fast speed, whereas actually they are stationary and we are moving with the moving train. Like that, we are moving with the Earth's movement. Then another proof of rotation of Earth is that if one drops a stone from a top of multi-story building, it will fall slightly toward the east side. Then rotation of Earth creates a centrifugal force. Centrifugal force, just like a spinning top, and causes a bulge at the equator side. Earth is bulgy from the equator area. Then the alternate rise and fall in the ocean waves occur twice in 24 hours due to the rotation. Then the high tide and low tide caused by the gravitational pull of sun and moon at different times of the day. The low tide and high tide both are happening in a day due to the gravitational pull of sun and moon, and occur at an interval of 12 hours 56 minutes because the moon is revolving around the earth in the same direction as the earth's rotation. The next thing is the Coriolis effect. What is a Coriolis effect? I will give you a hint. The Coriolis effect was first described in 1835 by a French scientist by the name Gustave Coriolis. This is very important. Coriolis effect is very important. You can get question of Coriolis effect in your exams. Then, as per his theory, all the moving bodies like oceans, currents and winds in the northern hemisphere are deflected toward the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere because of the Coriolis force, which is called Coriolis effect. Due to the Coriolis force, the winds are deflected toward right and left, right toward the northern hemisphere and left toward the southern hemisphere. This is called the Coriolis effect, and this happened due to the Coriolis force. It occurs due to the centrifugal force which is happened inside the core area of Earth. It is because of the rotation of the Earth and difference in speed as we go towards the poles. Now, what is a centrifugal force? The centrifugal force is a force directed away from the axis of rotation and appears to act on all rotating objects about an axis. This is very important. What is a centrifugal force? It is a force directed away from the axis of rotation and appears to act on all rotating objects about an axis. There is the earth rotates about its axis and it experiences a centrifugal force directed away from its axis of rotation, just like a spinning top, and causes a bulge at the equator. This is a force which happen on the bulgy part on the equator area. As you know that earth has oblate spheroid shape, and according to that it experiences bulge on the equator area. So you can understand it according to the example of spinning top. When it spins, it will create some kind of effect or bulge on the sides of the top, like the equator area of the top. So that's why that force is called the centrifugal force. It balances the force that is responsible for its rotation. That is called the centripetal force. Now, after rotation part, we are going to discuss revolution. What is revolution? The motion of the earth along its elliptical orbit around the sun in approximately 365.14 days, that is 365.25 days, is termed as the revolution every year. Now, the period of revolution or a year is the time required for the earth to complete one circle around the sun. The one circle around the sun is called the revolution, or the year completion of the earth around sun. Every 4 years, the extra 1/4 day difference between the tropical year and the calendar year of 365 day is taken as one whole day after 4 years. That is called the leap year. And now the perihelion and aphelion. What are these two terms? The mean distance between the earth and the sun is about 150 million kilometers. 150 million kilometer is the exact distance between earth and sun, and the earth is said to be perihelion. From the Greek peri word, they have given this peri and helion. Peri means near and helion means the sun. On the January 3rd, when distance is least or about 147 million kilometer. You can understand it through this diagram. Perihelion is near to the sun. When earth in the orbit form, it comes near to the sun. That means not exactly 150 million kilometer, but the little less, 147 million kilometer. The distance from sun to earth is 147 kilometer on January 3rd every year. Then aphelion, that is far from the sun, that is from 152 million kilometer. That means the 2 million kilometer increases. That is the day on July 4th every year. Now, speed of revolution, they have given this speed of revolution, or 30 kilometer per second speed of the earth when it revolves around sun. It varies according to the path of the orbit occupied. Now, the next thing is inclination of axis and its significance. Inclination means the tilted position of earth's axis. You can understand this point when you will see the globe. It will tilted on the axis point. It is somewhat slight tilt, and it is the inclination. Actually, the earth is inclinated on its axis. So that's why they have given the real structure of globe as it is. The earth spins on an imaginary line called the axis, and the north of this line is called the north pole, that is 90 degree north of the equator, and south of its axis is called south pole, that is 90 degrees south of the equator. The earth rotates on its axis, but it is not at right angle. That means it is not exactly like this. It is tilted somewhat. It is like this. Axis is here, from here to here. Not here, but it tilted somewhat. Now, but it is not at right angle to the plane of revolution. It makes an angle of 66.5 with the plane of ecliptic, and it is tilted 23.5 from the line perpendicular to the plane. This is very important diagram, and you have to draw this diagram on your notebooks. The inclination of Earth's axis and the plane of the Earth's orbit. Now the next is 2 points must always kept in mind. The first is the Earth's axis keeps a fixed angle with the plane of ecliptic, And second is the axis always points to the same direction during the period of its revolution. Now, effects of the inclination of axis. Due to the inclination of axis, what are the effects that comes? The alternation of season. Firstly, the inclination of the axis has important consequences, and because of its tilted position, each pole is inclined alternatively towards the sun twice a year. So, due to this inclination, both poles inclined toward the sun in a year twice. When it is summer in northern hemisphere, it is inclined toward the sun and the south pole is away. Hence, the southern hemisphere experiences winter. Due to this reason, the southern hemisphere experiences winter because the pole area gets away from the sunlight. Now, the next point is revolution of the earth and the seasonal changes. The earth completes one revolution on its elliptical orbit in 365 and 1/4 days because of the inclination of the axis and the fact that its north pole is always directed to the pole star. The earth experiences variation in temperature and in the length of day and night, and which affect the main seasons throughout the year. The variation, the change or the ups and downs in temperature, sometimes temperature becomes very high and sometimes very low, and the second is the length of day and night. Both are affect the main seasons throughout the year. Throughout the year we are experiences different type of seasons due to these two factors. Now, the effect of revolution. Changing altitude of the midday sun at different times of the year. Altitude means height of the midday sun at different times of the year. The altitude or the position of the sun always changes due to the revolution period. Now, this is very important diagram of revolution of earth. Main factors in determining according to the seasons. They have given four types of earth revolution on the orbit around the sun, and in this they have described the four main seasons. The first one, autumn equinox, then summer solstice, spring equinox, and then winter solstice. According to the season they have given this diagram, very important. Okay. We were discussing the effects of revolution. Here are the effects. The first one is the sun is directly overhead at the equator on the March 21 and September 22. These are the very important two dates on which we are getting sun directly overhead at the equator areas. Through a time it is referred as the September 23 because the year is not exactly 365 days. Sometimes it happens because after 4 years we are having one more extra day. So that's why sometime it is on 22 of September, sometime it is on September 23. These 2 days are termed as the spring and autumn equinox respectively. Spring equinox on March 21 and the autumn equinox on September 23. Now, after the spring equinox, the sun appears to move north and it is directly overhead Tropic of Cancer on June 21. That is a summer solstice, second type of season. It is termed as a summer solstice when Earth directly overhead at the Tropic of Cancer on June 21. Then next is on December 21, the sun shines overhead on the Tropic of Capricorn. After that, sun shines on the Tropic of Capricorn, that is on December 21 or 22. That is a winter solstice. Then the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere mark the limit of overhead sun. Next is the areas beyond the Arctic and Antarctic circles are very cold as the winter here lasts for 6 months. And hence the darkness and summer is very short as sun is never overhead. You can see from this diagram. In this diagram they are showing that in the summer solstice time one side of earth is illuminated as well as the other side is totally dark. On the in the second one during the spring equinox, whole part of the earth is illuminated due to the sun rays, and then winter solstice at this time one side again is illuminated and the another side is darkness. And in the autumn equinox or the last part, in this they have shown the both sides are in darkness. The apparent movement of the sun within the tropics varies very little from its vertical position at noon every day, and hence days and nights are equal throughout the year. throughout the year we are experiences days and night in an equal length, but in a particular seasons we are getting somewhere days are longer and nights are less, and sometimes nights are longer and days are less. The next is varying length of day and night. What is this? The length of day and night varies according to the seasons, and while day and night are due to the Earth's rotation. According to the rotation of the Earth, the days and nights are formed, you already know, and their respective duration is caused by the inclination of the Earth's axis. Their duration, that means the length of day and the length of night, is caused by the inclination of axis. And due to the inclination, sometimes we are experiences longer days and lesser nights, and sometimes longer nights and days are lesser in the term. The sun is at such a great distance from the sun, that is 149 million kilometer, and that its rays reach the earth as parallel rays. On June 21, the sun is overhead at the noon along the Tropic of Cancer, and all parallel in the northern hemisphere have their longest days of the year. During these time, June 21, after that we are experiences the longest days of the years. Then on to December 22, when sun is overhead Tropic of Capricorn, conditions are reversed. At this time, we are getting longer nights than the days. Then on March 21 and September 23rd, during the equinoxes, the circle of illumination coincides with the meridians because the sun is overhead at the noon along the equator, and all the places have 12 hours of day and 12 hours. Now the next topic is seasonal changes and their effects on the temperature. How the seasonal changes affects the temperature condition. The first point for this is a rotation of the earth on its inclined axis, the position of the earth during its revolution around the sun, the inclination of the earth's axis with its fixed position pointing to the pole, and the angle that sun makes with the zenith of a place observed at noon, and are the main factors which determine the season. Firstly, the inclination of axis affects the temperature directly or indirectly in both ways. We will discuss after that. Here is the next point. The amount of heat received by earth depends on the altitude of the sun with reference to the position of earth during its revolution. This is the part of the earth receiving direct rays of the sun is much hotter than the places which are receiving oblique rays of the sun. You can understand this point. The areas which are getting more sun rays, they are heated up more, they are hotter than the other places, but the areas which are behind that area, they are not receiving much rays, they are colder, or they are getting or those areas which are getting oblique rays, they are getting very cold temperature, and this is because the amount of heat is more concentrated while in the oblique rays. Next point is the difference of temperature between the four seasons. Spring, summer, autumn and winter are largely the result of the difference in the elevation of the sun or its altitude at different times. So here is the point of summer solstice, very important. What is a summer solstice? The word solstice in Latin means sun standing still. Solstice means when sun standing still or reaching the zenith or the highest point. The highest point of the sun when it reaches, as per the given figure on the June 21 and June 22, the earth's position at 23.5 degree is toward the sun. Toward the sun it inclines, so that's why it experiences more sun rays, and the summer season starts. The Tropic of Cancer receives the direct rays of the sun, and the northern hemisphere experiences summer season. So this area. Now next is special features of summer solstice. Here are the specific features which are very important. The first is the duration of day is longer than night. Next is daylight lasts for the entire 24 hours beyond the Arctic Circle toward the North Pole. Next, the length of day increases with the increasing latitude north to the equator. That is the 1 degree in 4 minutes. Next topic is winter solstice. This is also very important. The conditions at winter solstice on December 22 are exactly reverse of summer solstice condition. At this time, south pole of the axis inclined toward the sun. As you can see from this picture, the south pole area is inclined toward the sun, so that's why it experiences the daylight. The pole which have continuous daylight for 6 months. because the inclination axis which are getting the for both the areas which is getting the daylight for 6 months. Then specific features for winter solstice: the sun shines directly overhead Tropic of Capricorn, and hence the length of day increases as one goes toward the south pole. Second is, day is longer in the southern hemisphere than the night. Then between the Arctic Circle, the North Pole nights last for epicenter 24 hours, as the entire pole area north of Arctic Circle lies in the shaded side of the circle of illumination. Now, this is very important. Equinoxes. What are equinoxes? On March 21 or 22 and September 22 and 23, vernal or spring and autumnal equinoxes are happen. Now, the next topic is equinoxes. Equinoxes are of two types: spring equinox and autumnal equinox. Spring equinox on March 20 or 21, and autumnal equinox happen September 22 or 23rd. According to the condition of year, they have changed one date from each. The relation of the earth to the sun's rays is identical. Identical means the rays are constant, but due to the tilted position of earth, it happens that sometimes the earth is getting slanting rays and sometimes direct. Now, all places on earth have 12 hours of the day and 12 hours of night, as circle of illumination passes through the poles and thus divides the earth into two equal halves. In the circle of illumination. This is the northern first half and this is the second half from the pole area. The area which is illuminated, that which experiences daylight, and the area which is shaded, that is the night experiences. This explains the word equinox in the Latin, that is aqueous, that means equal, nox means night, equal nights. So I hope you understood this topic. If you will get any query, you can ask me through comment section. Thank you.